Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, in this tutorial I'm going to show you something really cool using Unreal Engine, which is completely free, and we're going to do this. Pretty cool now. Now, I'm a photographer. My main channel is about Lightroom and Photoshop, but I also have a passion for 3D, and I've been trying to learn 3D for a long time. I used to do a bit of Blender, but I never got really good at it. And I discovered a few months ago Unreal Engine, and it really reminds me like playing around with Lego, where you just put like different elements together and you can create amazing landscape and cityscape. I'm even working on the idea of mixing 3D backgrounds with actual photography. I think it can be a kind of cool project. And I think this is where the industry is going. Anyways, if you want to have fun, if you want to learn one of the most incredible 3D software, which is actually pretty easy and completely free, this tutorial is for you. We're going to be doing this project. So if you want to help you, under the video, you have a link here. You can click on that link. It's going to bring you to this page, and where you can actually download the file. Now, this is more for PC than Mac. I'm using some new trees that were built by this company called Megascan. They're amazing trees that we're going to be using because we're doing a forest, and it always crashed on my Mac. So I did everything on a PC. But if you want to try it on your Mac, you can. I don't think it's going to work. So this is more for PC. And then you're going to come to this page and you can directly download the assets. You can also download my shortcut sheet of the most common shortcuts you need to know. Anyways, it's all there. You can just download it, and you're going to get my daily newsletter where I'm going to give you amazing free assets, free tutorials, great promotion on my products. You can unsubscribe anytime when you want. To be really comfortable with this, you should really get a beefy PC, like a powerful PC with a good graphic card, ideally an RTX card. To do this, I'm using an AMD 9 Ryzen with 16 core processor, and I have a 3090 RTX card. And I tested this software on an RTX 1080, which is like a really, 4 or 5 years old graphic card, and it worked perfectly. So just so you know, you need a good graphic card and a good PC, otherwise it's not going to work. Let's do it now. Now, I've already downloaded the source files and I've unzipped the source files. And so you're going to get a folder called Forest Bike. Okay, it's got a whole bunch of things. Don't worry about it. I called it Forest Bike because originally I wanted to make a forest with a bike in it, and I couldn't find a bike that was free, so I gave up on the bike, but it's called Forest Bike. Anyways, you double click on forestbike.u project, and then you're going to come to this. This is Unreal Engine 4.27, and what I did is all the assets that we've been using is already there for you, so you don't have to download them. It just makes it easier. But I'll show you, if you don't want to download my startup file and you want to do it on your own, I'll show you how to do that too. So right off the bat, if you click on Content Browser, you can see here, there is something called Tuto Wide Shot. If I double click on it, it's going to launch the sequencer. What the sequencer is, and I will explain this in detail, the sequencer is basically it's like a little editing software where you can see your final result. So I'm going to click here on the camera, and I'm going to press the space bar, and you will see what we're doing. You'll see there is wind. It's very nice. There's some cool gutter rays. So we're going to try to recreate that. And I'm really blown away because the trees that Megascan, which is a partner of Unreal Engine, just released are so realistic. You can change the season of the tree. I've been trying to get good trees for a long time. I've never seen anything like it. All right, so if you know nothing about Unreal Engine, it's totally okay. I'm going to make this as an absolute beginner. I really advise you to watch my first tutorial anyway. Link is also under this video on the subject because I think I'm going even slower. But I'm going to try to make this as easy as possible. So first of all, we go to File, and we're going to create a new level, which is here, new level. Okay, and I'm going to take an empty level. So we really start from scratch, nothing. We have nothing in our level, okay? The first thing I'm going to do in a level is I'm going to bring in the light. I'm going to bring a direction light. Now the direction light is basically the sun, okay? Let's actually rename it sun. We can do that. We can rename it sun. And also to be a little bit tidy, I'm going to right click, move to, and I'm going to create a new folder, create new folder here. And I'm going to call this lights, because light is made of different things in Unreal Engine. The first one is the sun. So we have a sun. Nothing's happening yet because the sun works with an atmosphere. If you don't put an atmosphere, you don't see anything. Okay, so let's put an atmosphere. For this, you go to Visual Effect and you type Atmosphere, you drag and drop it above the sun. Doesn't matter where you put it. And you can still see nothing. Why is that? I don't know. They made it in a way that the sun, basically the sun, you have to go here. So you click on the sun is selected here, and here you have what we call the details. It's all the properties of the sun. What you're looking for, there's so many, don't get overwhelmed by all of this. We are going to use very little of that. You know, there is 1,000 ways to do the same thing in Unreal Engine, just like there's 1,000 ways to do something in Photoshop. I'm going to show you my way. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm really a beginner at this software. If you see I'm doing something wrong, leave me a comment, tell me how I could have done it better. It helps. So atmosphere, light, sunlight, I'm just going to click this and boom. Now we have an atmosphere and we have a sun. Check it out. You can even press, and this is a shortcut you really must know, using Unreal Engine, Control L, and you maintain your finger on control. This is something took me a while to figure out. And now I can move the sun around and I have an atmosphere. Isn't that crazy? Let's put the sun here. We can change it how we want it. This is what, you know, I said this in the first video, but I grew up on Legos. Like Legos was my thing. I used to play so many Legos, and for me, this is Lego all over again. A little more advanced, but it's Lego. Okay, the next thing we want to do in this is we want to go back to light, and we want to add something that it took me a while to understand, skylight. Skylight helps. Skylight basically is what we call global illumination. What is global illumination? It's basically, you know, when the sun comes and it's going to hit something and it's going to reflect on something else, that is global illumination. It's like all the indirect lighting. We'll cover this for now. Just put this there. So you need to have a sun, an atmosphere, and a sunlight, okay? Sunlight is going to be the indirect lighting. The atmosphere is this, and the sun is this, okay? Pretty simple so far. Good. Now we're going to create a landscape. So I'm going to go here into mode, and I'm going to go to a landscape. And by default, it's giving you a landscape. And since we're going to do a very small forest, it's not like a full video game. I'm just going to take the default. I'm going to click on create. It's going to be a very small landscape. Okay. The next thing you can see here is we have like a sort of a brush. We have a brush. We have a brush because by default, once you're in the landscape, you're into the sculpt mode. And I do want to sculpt something. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to put the strength of the sculpt like maybe around 0.5. And I'm going to make a much bigger brush size. Actually, I'm going to put it all the way, okay? And I'm going to go very far and I'm going to click one time. You know, one thing that can help, what you can do is you can hold on the right key and press E to go up, Q to go down. So just go up a little bit, and I just want to add some like hills on the back. So I'm gonna press. Okay, if you do it too strong, it's gonna make a huge mountain, which is kind of weird. So you can press Command Z if you did that. Just click one time. Just be very gentle. Let's make another one. I just want to make one here, and what I'm doing, I'm right clicking and I'm moving my mouse, and I'm just gonna click here a couple of times. Oh. Okay, that should be fine. Okay, good. So I made a couple of hills. Maybe let's make one more here. Just so that we have a terrain that's not... Okay, this one was too big. Command Z to undo. Let's just do it. Yeah, it's very sensible. Just click one time, maybe 2 times, 3 times. Okay, good. We're good. Okay, so now I'm happy with the sculpt. I'm going to go back to here, to the select mode. And let's position our camera. So Q to go down, E to go up, like video games, W to go forward, S to go backward. So let's find something. I'm going to go down. Something like it's enough. I just didn't want to have like a flat horizon. So now I don't have a flat horizon. I'm happy. Okay, cool. Now we need to add some kind of landscape material because this looks kind of weird. So I'm going to go here in landscape I'm select the landscape. I'm going to go to my content browser, and I'm going to go to this folder called MS Forest Tout. Now, where did I get that? Well, let me show you. I'm going to go back to the, in case you want this and you didn't download my file, let's go to the Epic Marketplace, okay? And if you look for, I think it's pass. Pass, if you just press pass, yes, you will see Megascan Forest Pass, and it's free. This is amazing. It's got a lot of stuff that we're going to be using, okay? But as I said, it's already included, right? The next thing we need to have is you tap forest on the marketplace in case you didn't download my file, and you can download, no, sorry, it's tree. You just type trees maybe, trees. Actually, no, you know what's faster? You just go here, Browns Megascan, or yeah, Megascan, and you will see it right away. Megascan, yes. This is the new tree. This is the best 3D tree money can buy, except it's totally free. So this I also added to my project. Now, if you want to add something to your project, or if you want to add something, first you have to purchase it. So it's kind of weird because you have to purchase it, but it's free. Like for example, this is free. Let's say I wanted to buy this. I just click on free, and then I go to my cart, okay, which is here, shopping cart. Okay, well, it's not adding it to the shopping cart. I don't know why. Come on, let's take something else. So let's take, for example, this Megascan Medieval Tools. Okay, free. All the Megascan is free. So I'm going to click on free, and then oh, that's new. I don't even have to. Sometimes you have to check out. On this one, I can just directly add it to my project. So you click Add to Project, and the project that we're doing is called Forest Bike, and Add to Project. But again, I did that for you, so you don't need to do it. Okay. And I'm going to click on Don't Add to go back on that. So let's go back. So this is already done. So I repeat, I've already added the Megascan tree, and I've already added the past forest that I showed you. And it's already in the thing you're downloading, so you don't need to do it. I just try to make things easier for you. So let's go back here. So that's why I have this folder called MS Forest Tout, because I did that for you already. You can either download the file from the link under the video, or you can do what I just did. Okay, and I'm going to go to surface, okay? And they have a couple of surface for the ground, okay? So I'm on landscape. You see here, you have to, in the properties, you have to find landscape material, and you drag and drop this thing, this little round thing, you drag and drop it here, and boom. Now we have some kind of material there, which is only going to be a base for us, okay? And this one actually looks decent. Now, I'll show you a little trick. If you want to change the scale of this material, you can double click on it. I'm going to make this a bit smaller. And you can see here, oh, because I already did it. See, by default, sorry. This is how it's going to look to you. Sorry, I got to show you that to you. This is how it's going to look to you, which is kind of weird because you can see like the tiling. So if you want to get this tiling effect off, what I did is, I repeat, I double clicked on this. It opens a window. I went to tiling, okay? And instead of 1.0, I made 0.5. What that's going to do is going to make my texture much bigger, okay? What's going on there? Oh, something happened, okay? But it worked, okay? My texture is bigger. Okay, I must say Unreal Engine is not the most stable software, although I have a very stable machine. It crashed on me a few times. So don't worry about it. Just, keep at it, keep opening it. So now we have this, okay? Before I start building anything, I want to add a lot of grass and things like this. So let's look what else do we have in this MS Forest Tout. Let's go to 3D plants, and we have a whole bunch of dead leaf here. So I could go here and put one dead leaf here and try to position it exactly on the ground. Put another one here and another one there. It's going to take me forever. So they have an amazing feature in Unreal Engine called Foliage. I'm going to click on that. And now he says, drop foliage here. Let's do it. So we selected 3 and we drop it here. Okay, and by default, I have a brush. Okay, very important. You see size is the size of the brush. So I'm going to make it a bit bigger. It's 248. I'm going to make it 500. 500 is a good size. Okay, and density. So let's click one time and see what happens. You see? Oh, not bad. It added a whole bunch of and I can just brush like this, and it had a whole bunch of dead leaf on the floor. Okay, I don't need to put it over there because I'm going to be putting a lot of trees, so it's kind of cool. And the idea is to hide the basic texture, to complexify it. Okay, let's see what else we got. We got some grass. I'm going to select that, all three. I'm going to click it, drag here. But now, you see here it says 1,000. There was 1,000 of this foliage that was put in. 0 of this one, 0 of this one, 0 of this one. I only want to select the 0 one. So you know what? One thing I do, I give you a little trick. I press Control A and I click here. It's going to unselect everything. And then I'm going to select this one, press the Control key on my keyboard, select this one and this one, the one that says 0, and select that. So now I only have this one selected, which is grass. And let's see what happened. I'm going to add some grass everywhere. I want some grass. Let's see, maybe we can even add a little more. Let's increase the density to 1, which is the max. It doesn't want to add more than that, but that should be fine. So now we've got some grass. And again, I'm only really caring about the foreground because you will see why. When we build a forest, what only matters is the foreground. Okay, I actually want to go back to the sculpting mode. You see, right now I'm painting. So I want to go back to landscape, and I'm going to back to sculpt. Okay, and I want to make my radius like 50. Very small radius. You want to make sure that you're on sculpt, and we're going to sculpt the landscape. I want to make like often like on the left and right side of a path, you got a little bit of I don't know, a small hill, I don't know, a small amount of grass, of earth. So I'm just going to make this like this, so it's a bit uneven. And if you want too high, you can press Shift, and it's going to take it out. Shift is going to undo it, and clicking is going to make it go higher. So I'm just randomly, putting some small hills in there because in nature it's very random like that. Okay, cool. So that's a beginning. Okay, let's go back to our foliage. Let's see what else we have. Ooh, we have another type of grass. Okay, let's go there. Let's drag and drop it here. Okay. Every time you have to do this, Control A. That's what if you know another way, leave me a comment. I'm going to click to select everything, click to unselect everything, then again press Control and just take the one which have 0. Click here, 0, 0, 0, which is the grass, which is drag and drop. You can see all the rest, there's 1,000 of it. And then boom, I'm going to add the grass. So now we're adding 2 types of grass. Okay, maybe a little bit far away, but I'm really caring about here. Okay, cool. So it's starting to look like something amazing. Okay, what else do we got? Let's go to maybe Scatter 3D. What do we have in Scatter 3D? Soil and gravel. Now this is what surface that we use. Scatter 3D. Oh, we have some stones. Okay, let's put some stones. So I'm going to click and drag, put all the stones in the foliage. Okay, you know this is the 2 now. Control A to select everything. Okay, and then select everything and unselect everything, and then click here so nothing is selected. And let's just select the stone. You see they're at 0. Okay, now the stone is selected, and let's add some stone. Not too much, but just a little bit of stone, especially in front. Okay, now we have stone. Okay, what else you got for us? Dry branches. Ooh, let's go for dry branches. I'm going to select all that, click and drag here. Okay, same thing again. So Control A. There must be a faster way. I do that every time. Control A, select everything, unselect everything. Click here so nothing is selected. Click on the 0 here and 0 there because nothing, and yeah, make sure that's selected. So only that is selected, and it's going to add some dead branch and some rocks that I forgot. Yeah, you see it adds some small branches. Okay. Ooh. You see how fast it goes? It's crazy. It's Lego. Okay, cool. So now we got quite some random stuff now. Okay, let's see what else can we add here. What else you got for us? Okay, dead leaf. Okay, that we did. Okay, 3D assets. Ooh, granite rock. Ooh, a nice rock. Okay, cool. So let's go back to the landscape mode. When it comes to big rocks, I want to put them one by one. So let's maybe put a big rock here. Make sure we are into select mode. Okay, let's put another big rock here. So when you put 2 rocks which are the same, remember by default you can move the rocks with these little arrows there, or and you can press E, and then you can rotate them. You have to rotate them every time because if you don't rotate, they're gonna look exactly the same. Okay, so I'm kind of happy of what I'm getting here on the ground, and you can see I only did here. If I rotate, it's empty. It's like a movie set, you know, movie set, you only dress what you film. So that's kind of my idea. I really want to dress just the foreground and then the background. So let's see. I think, oh yeah. So now we had the granite rocks, and there's something that I really like here, which is this old stump. So I'm going to put a stump there. So this one I found a bit small. So what you can do is you can go here and you have different properties. One of them is scale. You need to make sure that this lock is locked. And then check this out. I can just go here and I can scale it. I can make it bigger. I want to make it bigger. I want to make it bigger. Okay. And remember, if you want to move something, you press W and then you can just move this to the left, or you can, the red arrow is going to go in this kind of front and back, and the top arrow, the blue one, is going to be up and down. So you can either use the arrow, or you can go use here. You can click, you left click, and the X is going to make this going to move, you know, front and back in the direction of the arrow. This one is going to make left and right, and this one is going to make it up and down. Okay, cool. And it's kind of cool to like bury it into the ground. So I like to use what they call the gizmo. That's a gizmo. I like to use that. But that's enough dressing. Let's get into this new forest, the amazing forest from the. So you go here to the photo called Black Elders, and I advise you to go to geometry here, and you go to simple wind. Okay. Okay. Once you're there, you're gonna get a whole bunch of trees, and these trees are unreal. So. Unreal Engine, no pun intended. So I'm going to take any random tree. So the first trees you see here are very big trees. Let me drag and drop one. Look at this, how big it is. Big trees, they have a lot of branch all around because they are like meant to sort of stand alone as a tree. I'm going to bury it a little bit in the ground. And then, and the good thing, these trees also, they're really big. So I'm going to just randomly put it there. So I just want to create a path. So what I'm going to do is, so when you drag and drop your trees, you might have a bit of a lag. I have a very powerful computer and I've already prepared this file. So it actually goes faster, much faster. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put some trees, the big ones first, sort of like randomly all around. And then I'm going to take this one. So this one you will see they only have branch on the very top. And I'm going to use them actually in the back. They are more like for like dense forest. So I'm going to, for the closest tree, I rather use this big tree. They're really nice. They have a nice, nice trunk. This one I can press W. Remember W, and then you can rotate. So E to rotate. I'm going to rotate this tree a little bit because I don't want the branch to be so much in my way. Yeah, maybe something like that. This one has a lot of big branch. So you know what? It's fine. Let's move it a little bit out of the way. So W, and then I'm going to move it here. Okay. Now sometimes with Unreal Engine, make sure it's in the ground. Okay. But you still want to have the tree there to get the shadows. Okay. And so maybe this tree here. Okay, I'm going to put it here, and I'm just going to randomly put some trees. Like if it was a pass. So I'm going to put some trees here. And I just want to keep this open so that we can play around with it. And make sure that the tree is grounded a little bit, like this. Well, this one is actually not nice. This one I'm going to put on the side. I want a nicer one, like close to where I am. I really want a nice tree. Let's see if we can rotate it. I'm going to bury this one a little bit in the ground. Press E. Let's see, can we get this branch out of the way? No, they're everywhere. Okay, fine. Okay, you know what? So I'm just going to put that tree far away. I'm going to put this, go away, more away. So I'm going to right click. I'm right clicking to move my camera. I'm just going to put this in the back. I don't throw them away. I think they're kind of cool. Voila. And I want to show you a cool trick also. Like this is my view, right? That's going to be my main view. So I'm going to press Control-1. And now if I right click to move around my camera and then I press 1, it's going to go back to my main view. So if I get lost or something, I can just press 1 and I'm back. So Control 1 is to set like a point. And you know, later on, we're gonna set a camera and everything, so it's gonna fine. All right, let's see here. I need a tree that doesn't have such a, yeah, this one is gonna be perfect as a foreground. And I'm gonna make it like this. And then let's see here, maybe this one can be here. Same thing, I'm gonna bury it. And one thing you can do also is you can go back here into the landscape mode. You can go back to Sculpt and yeah, 50, make sure that your brush size is 50, and then you can just, you know, make the ground around the tree a little higher up. You know, I think it can be kind of cool, something like that. Just, you know, you make like a little bump, something that happens around the tree, especially just for the ones which are very close to you. You don't need to do that every, you know, just the one that's very close to you. This one is a little too much, remember? So you hold on the Shift key to make it smaller. Voila. Okay. And you see here, you see this tree that has a weird texture. And you see here we have like a message. You're going to get that all the time in Unreal Engine. Lighting needs to be rebuilt. Oh, okay. So I made a mistake here. Under the sun, you can click here on the sun. Come on, sun. And what's going on here? Sun. All right. It doesn't want to select the sun to me. Why is that? Okay, if I press here. So sometimes you have some bugs here. You see, it doesn't want to select my sun. I don't know why. Okay, when that happens, what I advise you to do is you click on Save. You save your level. So I'm going to call this one Tuto 3 because I already did one. Okay, you save it. And then you go to File, Exit, and you just reopen, save again, and you just reopen the file. If you get anything weird, continue, okay, anything weird. And now let's go back. I'm going to go back to my Epic Center. I'm going to go back to my library. I'm going to reopen Forest Bike. I've had to do it. I think the trees are like really taking a lot of memory, and I had to do this a couple of times. So when you're back, you already again have the starter level. You want to go to File. You want to go to Recent Level, and we're going to go to Tuto 3. That's the level we're building, remember? And then let's see if I press 1. Can I go back to where I was? Yes, 1, I'm back to where I was. Okay, I was trying to select the sun. See, now it works. It's just a bug, and restarting Unreal did it. Okay, make sure that your light is on movable, okay, for the sun. And I'm going to put Sky Atmosphere and Skylight. I'm going to right-click, move to my light folder, my landscape. I'm going to, you know, it's kind of good to organize a little bit. So for example, like all the trees here, I can select them all. And with that, anything which is the forest, I can select and I can right click, move to, create a new folder, and let's call it trees. Trees. Okay, cool. All right, and so now we have a folder called light, a folder called tree. The rocks which are there, you can just drag and drop in trees. It's fine. It's kind of like forest. And I'm going to keep the landscape out of the loop. Okay, so now in lights, I have the atmosphere. I have the skylight. Now the skylight also you want to press on movable. And it's going to make the whole scene usually a bit brighter, which is fine. And now here's the tricky part. The skylight, you want to bring the skylight where your scene is. Like it's got to be in front of your scene. So where is my skylight? What you can do is you can click here and you press F, and that's going to bring the skylight into view. Voila, that's my skylight. I want to make sure the skylight is in front of me, because the skylight, basically what it does is it analyzes all the lights around you and creates the indirect lighting. You see, right now it's way too bright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go here and I'm going to change the sky distance threshold to 1. So what that does is that, and that's already looking better, when you put the skylight in front of you and you put the sky distance threshold to 1, you're basically saying to Unreal Engine, just take into account what you see here just in front of me, not the whole universe, for the calculation of the indirect lighting. In short, you just get a better indirect lighting. Okay, then you have to go back here and you click on Recapture. And that's all for now. We'll work more on the lighting afterwards. But but I just wanted to tidy up a little bit our scene. Okay, so now I'm pretty happy with that. I want to see what else we can add. So let's go to Content Browser. I prepared some more stuff for you guys. If you go to Megascan, I prepared some more things. We can 3D assets. Let's see what did I... Ooh, I got a little chunky wood branch for you guys. So you put it here. Okay, this one is very tiny. So remember, I can just go here and make it bigger. I'm going to make it much bigger. I'm going to press 10. So now it's a big branch. And I'm going to press E. I love Megascans because Megascan is photos. You know, you're basically, come on, E. Sometimes it doesn't want to do it. So when it doesn't want to do it, you can just do something like this and like that. I just want to put this on the floor. Maybe 10 was a bit. Let's make it a bit smaller. And I just want to, you know, it's just putting random things on the floor, you know, helps. And if you like this one, what you can do is you can just hold on the Option key and then you can, it only works with these arrows, and you click and drag, and that's going to make a copy of this one. Let's make it on the surface like that. And remember, W, I don't know why my W, oh, E, sorry, and then E is to rotate, which makes absolutely no sense. Okay, so we added a couple of that. What else did I have in store for you? Oh, this is my hero shot. So my hero shot, I'm going to put it here. It's a big rock. I'm going to make it 10 to make it big. And I'm then going to rotate it. Yeah, that's going to be like sort of like the main subject in the thing. Now, the problem that we have is we don't have any trees in the back, and that's not good. But let's finish with the foreground again. I got another rock for you, a little granite rock, just to add some randomness. W to make it smaller and make it go down. What else did I prepare for you? Maybe let's add a couple. So you hold on the Alt key. Okay, and then let's move this around. I hate when you lose the arrows like that. Okay, let's maybe put it here. Voila, remember to always rotate it. E for rotation, you always rotate it if you've got two of the same thing. Okay, let's see, and I think this is another rock. Yeah, I got another rock. This one I'm going to put here. W to get my arrows, and I'm going to drag and drop it here. Okay, and this one I definitely want to drag and drop it here. I want to go back to my sculpt mode, landscape, sculpt, and I still have, remember, my strength's about 0.5, which is half, and brush size 50, so it's a very small brush. I just want to make like the earth to go a little bit up around that rock. Why not? Why not? Maybe here a little bit more, like while we're here, let's make it a little more random, like here. You know, just why not? Okay, cool. I'm liking this. Now let's go back to select. And what we did with the foliage, we can actually do with the tree, because I want to put a whole bunch of tree in the back. So I'm going to right click and press E, to go up. And if you want to go up a bit faster, you can press E on your keyboard. You can use the middle mouse key to make it go. And then I'm holding the right key, so I'm actually tilting my view. I want to add a whole bunch of trees there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to foliage. I love this. This foliage feature is like I've been doing Blender for a few years, and I wish Blender would have this. I mean, it's so much faster to create a world with Unreal Engine than anything I've used in the past. I'm not a good modeler, so I just like to create worlds, and this is perfect. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Simple Wind. And I'm going to take a whole bunch of tree here. I'm taking this tree, not this one. There are too much branch. And I'm going to drag and drop there in foliage type, okay? And then I want to make sure just this one is selected, which seems to be the case. And check this out. I'm going to make the density 0.1 because trees are big. And I'm going to make this much bigger, like maybe 5,000. Okay, so that's going to give me a big circle. Oh, man, 5,000 is too much. Okay, let's go 1,000. 1,000 size of the brush and 0.1 in density. And look at this, one click, boom. Look at all these trees, too much. Command Z. So I'm going to put density at 0.01. Okay, because when it comes to tree, you need to have a very low density. And check this out. And now I can just, boom, a couple of strokes, and I'm putting a whole bunch of tree in the back of my scene. I'm going to press S to go back. Just want to make sure. Yeah. And I'm going to put a whole bunch of tree. You know, again, this is not like a full-on level I'm doing, so something like this is enough. Okay, cool. So now let's go back here to the select mode, and let's press 1. And look at this. Now we got a whole bunch of trees. And I'm happy with that. Now it's time to sort of dress the light, because the light is awful right now. It's not good at all. So for the light, what I'm going to do is, check this out. I'm going to go to skylight, and no, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and add a post-process volume. Now, what is a post-process volume? Well, just a post, it's exactly what it means. It's basically, we're going to be retouching, using this feature to retouch the whole look of our image. So the post-processing volume, I'm going to go here, and I am going to go, so you see it's selected. The first thing you want to do is you want to go in details here, and you search for the parameters. There's so many parameters, it's better to just know your parameters and look for them. So I'm going to click bound, and you see here, infinite extent unbound. I'm going to click that. It's kind of annoying, but the post-process by default is only effective in that cube. And by pressing this, now it's going to affect the entire level. So you need to do that first. Then I'm going to go to exposure, and you understand why. And I'm going to go to metering mode, and I'm going to go to manual, and exposure compensation, and check this out. Not basic, manual. Yes, and everything goes black. And now I can just add some exposure compensation. I'm going to add like maybe 13. And it's starting to look a lot more dark, which is what I want. But we need the most magical element of all times, and it's the exponential fog. So you go to visual effects, and you go to exponential high fog, and check this out. Are you ready? Bam! This fog is unbelievable. Okay, so a few things we need to do with the fog first. I don't like that color, so I'm going to change the fog to something a little warmer. Okay. And then I'm going to go to, I make sure you don't have anything typed here. So again, there's a lot of parameters. Don't get overwhelmed by the parameters. All you care about is you have the albedo. So albedo is a very complex word to mean the color. It's the color of the fog. So on this one, I'm going to make it black. Why am I making it black? Because by making the fog black, you're making it not, basically, it's going to take more the light. That's my understanding. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. So I always put the albedo. I see everybody does that. They put the albedo at black, and they put the in-scatter texture tint. Or which one is it? It's here. Yeah, the fog in scattering color. Sorry, it's a little bit confusing. Okay, I put this one black. So usually it takes most of the fog out, or very dark. But black is good. So it takes like all the fog out. You're like, where did my fog go? So it's only two settings. I'm sorry to be confusing. Fog in scattering color, you just put it black, and the albedo here. Actually, no, this was a mistake. The albedo, I can go back to sort of yellow. That was my mistake. It's the in-scattering texture tint. I think you put black also. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Let's see what it does for now. What's important is the fog in scattering color is black, and then that volumetric fog is on. Okay, that's very important. Now that volumetric is on, you can go back to sunlight and check this out. You can go here, and this is where the magic comes on. You can go to volumetric scattering intensity, and you type in 40. And look at that. And now a whole bunch of ray lights is going to appear. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to press Control L, and I'm going to play around Control L and play around with the sun. Look at that. Because we added a lot of volumetric fog. So I want to make that rock like the star of the show, something like that. Okay, good. All right, so now we added the fog, and I want to go to my skylight. I want to recapture my skylight, see what happens. You see now it's way too bright. The indirect lighting for me is way too bright. So one thing you can do is you can go here to intensity scale, and you can like put like 0.2. And that's going to make the indirect lighting much less strong. Okay, and then one thing I can do is, so you can you have two ways to make this brighter or darker. You can go to the sun and you see that's the lux, that's the intensity of the sun. So it was 10, I can put it like at 7. That's one way of doing it. Or you can go to the post-processing volume and you go back to exposure. And then you can change here. See, I'm at 13, I can go at 12. It's gonna make it darker. Yeah, I kind of like it dark like this. And then it's darker, and then I have to go back to my skylight. Remember, the only thing I touch in skylight is the intensity scale. Maybe I make it a bit brighter. Oh, that's way too much. 0.5. 0.5 is kind of good. Yeah, 0.5 is good. Okay, cool. So now we have some serious forest going on here, guys. I kind of like that. I think I'm going to put that rock a little bit on the left side just so that it's kind of off like that. And maybe, maybe put my sun a bit stronger, but then I'm going to go to my volumetric scattering intensity instead of 40. That's the main parameter. That's the one that gives you the God rays and everything. Put this one at 20, maybe 40 is a bit too much. If you put at 4, which is the maximum, you hardly see the fog. So I like 20. Well, actually 40 was kind of cool. Let's go crazy. 40, you see like I just love the thing. Okay, so now it's time to sort of put in a camera and a camera movement. I want to sculpt a little bit. I think it's too flat here. So I want to go back here. And it's a good thing with Unreal Engine. It's like you just go back and forth. So I can go back to landscape and let's go back to sculpt. And I want let's make the circle, the radius maybe like 500 instead of 50. So we have I just want to maybe just click one time there to make like a bump there. See, it makes the tree go, I think it's kind of cool. Just like yeah, something like that. I can go back to the select mode, maybe put that tree, just that tree there. Oh, when you cannot select a tree, it means it's part of a foliage, which is fine. I can leave that tree there. I just want to put another one here, just like as a hero shot, like that. And maybe put another one. I want to add some more like shadow on that stone. Okay, cool. All right, so now we got a very heavy forest, which is kind of what I wanted, and that stone, the light's casting on this. So now let's add a camera. So we're gonna go to cinematic. We're gonna go add a level sequence, and let's call this one 24 millimeter, because that's how I do it. I call it 24 millimeter. Let's go here to add a camera, and right away it's very zoomed in and much brighter. Totally fine. You just select your camera, and you have to go here in the settings. I'm going to put this one as a 16.9 DSLR. It's going to make it wider. I'm going to make sure I focus on the stone so that it's focused on the stone. And I'm going to go here, see where it's at 35. I'm going to go 24. I want to go much wider. Okay. And then you can just move around to position the camera. I can go up or down, and find settings that you like. I kind of like that, for example. Okay, it's way too bright. So the reason it's way too bright is because the aperture is at 2.8, but I kind of like to get a shadow depth of field, so I'm going to leave it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my exposure, to my post-processing. So you can just type post-processing here, like POST. You find it here, and then you type here exposure. That's really the fastest way to work. And then I'm going to go like maybe 11, or maybe even lower, like 10. Like dark, and then remember, let's go back to, every time you change the light, you have to go back to skylight, and that's what I do every time. I know you can have like the real-time capture, but I saw a tutorial where the guy says don't use that, so I don't use it. And I'm gonna click recapture, doesn't change much. Maybe indirect lighting is already at 1. Okay, so for now, I'm gonna leave it like this for now. So now I just want to get a simple camera movement. Yeah, it's actually a little dark. So let's see, maybe we go to sun and we add a bit of intensity of the sun. Just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit of, that's one way you either increase the exposure or the intensity of the sun. You just play around with the settings until you get something that you like. Okay, I kind of like that. I'm overdoing it for now. So now let's make a quick camera move. No, it's actually too much. 37 is too much. Let's go 20 20, or let's go 15. Yeah. Just right. I don't know. I'm changing my mind. I don't want the stone to be like too burned. I can always go back to skylight, and then intensity scale. Oh, I can put it back to 1. Back to 1. Come on. And now, yeah, now it's kind of cool. Back to 1. I kind of like that now. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a little animation. So I'm going to put, this is my timeline. You see transform, and I'm going to start like this. I'm going to say click. Okay, start like this. Then I'm going to move this until the end, and I'm going to basically press E to go up, maybe go a little forward. I'm going a little fast. Okay, like that. I want to go closer to the stone. Okay, cool. And that could be my end frame. Okay, so I remember Q left, Q up, E down, W forward, like just like video games. Okay, and I'm going to click here again to create another, I forgot the name. Yeah, it's cool. Okay, so you see that little round? I'm going to select this round, and I'm going to select this round. I'm going to right click and or right click here, and I'm going to make linear. What that's going to make is going to make like a more regular movement of my camera, linear. So now it's a triangle instead of a round, and voila. So yeah, this is called a keyframe. I just remembered, sorry. It's a keyframe. So now we got 2 keyframes, and it makes this animation. You can just press the space bar and you can see it, and it's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. And I just want to make sure that the focus, what you can do is, you can go here just to be sure on the focus. One thing I usually do is I go here, and then I click here on draw. You see, you should see this focus setting, draw debug focus plane, and it's perfect. The focus plane is the rock all the way, pretty much. It actually goes out. I want to make sure that the rock is always in focus. So what you can do is I can go here on the first keyframe, and then I can manual focus distance. I can go here and put a keyframe, and then I go at the end here at the last keyframe, and then I can change my manual focus distance. You can see where it's like the focus picking on a camera, and I can go here and I can click here, boom, and add a keyframe. So now I am sure that I'm always pretty much focused on the stone. So I can take this out of the way. The draw debug phase, we don't need that anymore. So that's kind of cool. And I could even, just for the fun, I could even animate the sun. Let's try that. I didn't do that the first time, but I feel like doing that now. So I'm going to click and drag the sun into my sequencer. And I'm going to go here in sun. I'm going to go track, transform. Okay? And then I'm going to go here on my first keyframe. And then you see transform is here now. And I'm going to click here to create a keyframe. So the sun is going to start here. Let's go to the end and let's move the sun a little bit. So how do we move the sun? Remember, you click here and you press Control L. Now you have to be very gentle on this one. I'm just going to move the sun like this. Voila. Okay, and then I'm going to press again here to create a keyframe. So now we should have an animation not only of the camera but of the sun also. Ooh, amazing. Now I find that the fog is not strong enough. So let's go here in the exponential fog here and maybe just boost the overall fog a little bit. Yeah, I want to see the light rays. I want to see the drama. Let's see here. Ooh, drama. And then the light is coming and voila. Okay, now one more thing I want to add is and that's a really cool feature, is the wind. Here comes the wind. So check this out. You have to go back to your content browser and you have to go to, I have to find it again. I think it's in MS preset, Megascan preset. Okay, that comes when you install the tree and you go to foliage materials. No, you go to MS foliage materials. Yes, MS foliage materials, global foliage actor. And you see here you have something called BP global foliage actor. I'm going to click and drag this in my scene. Now I don't want it to be visible because it would actually render. So I'm going to put it like on the side here. I'm going to go here and hide it. We don't need it. It just needs to be in our scene. Okay, somewhere there. And now check this out. Are you ready for some real magic? Okay, so let me go back to my sequencer. Okay, let's see if everything works fine. Okay, everything was fine. And check this out. So now I have BP. So BP stands for Blueprint. Blueprint is kind of like a coding software for Unreal Engine. But you don't care about that. All you care is you select Blueprint. It's very easy. And you go to Wind Strengths. And let's put like 10 of Wind Strengths. And now look at that. And then Wind Speed, let's put like 5. Okay, that's too much. Let's put maybe 2. And maybe 20 of wind. I want some real wind on this one. And maybe let's lower the noise. Noises so it looks a little more natural. Actually, it's worse. So just play around with this until you have something that you like. I'm going to put back the wind strength to 10. And so now we have some wind. And maybe wind speed 5. Let's try that. Yeah, it's a little fast. Let's go 3. 3 might be good. Okay, so now we have some wind. But that's not all. We have some wind on the trees. I think, let's try Windows 10. I don't know, something, I had better result last time, a 1. I'm a little confused with what this parameters does. So let's see, wind, maybe more strengths, more speed. I'm just like overdoing it to see. Okay, and strengths. Maybe if I add a low strength and a high speed, no, I don't like it. Let's just go 5, 5, 5. Let's put 5 everywhere, just for the fun of it. So we have a bit of wind. Okay, cool. No, I think it's the contrary. I'm sorry, I'm pretty new to this thing, so I'm going to try wind strength 10. Yeah, that's better. Yeah. Okay, wind strength 10. So noise 5. Wind strength 10 and wind speed 5. You can try whatever parameter you want. But now, check this out. Season strength. I'm going to put this all the way, and that's going to turn the trees brown. I'm changing the season. I can even change the brightness. Don't overdo it. It's going to look weird. I can change the brightness of the... I'm going to put like maybe 2. No, that's too much. 0.5 of brightness. And you can even add saturation if you want on the tree. So I went like 4,000 health. I can, if you boost the health, let's see here. It's going to make the leaf are going to be in less health, I believe. So now it's like an autumn feeling to it, which is kind of cool. Why not? Maybe I went a little strong on the saturation. Let me go back to 1. Okay, cool. So now let's see here. We have an animation and it's autumn and the light is changing and everything is changing. It's kind of cool. I want to add more contrast. So let's go back to our post-processing volume. That post-processing, okay? And here, let's see what else we have. We have a lot of, so let's go through. Depth of field, I don't care. Bloom, I don't care. Exposure, we already did. Chromatic aberration. Oh, chromatic aberration is kind of cool. Intensity, let's put a little bit of chromatic aberration. Like if I'm going to overdo it so you can see, it looks like an old TV. So I usually put like 0.2. Very little of chromatic aberration. Dirt mask, I don't know what that is. Camera, I don't want to touch. Lens flare, the sun is not in our shot. I don't care. Image effect, I don't care. Oh, maybe a little bit vignettage intensity. Let's add a bit of vignette. That can be cool. Just a little bit of vignette. Grain intensity, grain jitter. Yeah, let's add a bit of grain. That can be kind of cool. A little bit of grain. And intensity. Ooh, that's too much. But like just to make it like a little less digital. Okay, I added a bit of grain. Depth of field, I'm not touching because we're already this. Now, color grading. That's the one you want. So lens section, color grading section, temperature, white balance, yes, temperature and tint. So you can play around with that. I can make it a bit warmer, just a little bit warmer like that, and maybe a bit greener, slightly greener. Okay, now global saturation and contrast. Now, contrast, it's at 1. I'm going to go add a lot of contrast. And then I'm going to add a bit of gain. Gain is going to make it brighter, I think. Yeah, gain is going to make it... gain is going to make the highlights brighter. And saturation, when you add contrast, it always adds saturation. So saturation, I'm going to lower the saturation. Yes, because I feel it looks unreal if you add just a little bit of unreal saturation. Okay, now I'm kind of liking that. Okay, I want to see if I can do better with my indirect lighting. Remember indirect lighting? So which is a skylight. And honestly, you can spend hours on this step. I'm not going to bore you with that. Let's see. Can I? Oh, I'm going to put 1.2 now. 1.2, 1.2. How is 1.2? It's a little too much. So let's go back to 1. Oh, I think I needed to just, okay, well, 0.8. You see, I didn't recapture. So yeah, 0.8. Yeah, because I want to see a little bit the indirect lighting, the shadow. That's basically like in Lightroom, opening in the shadows kind of thing, you know? Yeah, 0.5 is kind of cool. And you can go on forever like this. Look at this. The sun is kind of cool. I love this scene. And, you know, you just play. I've done like 5 or 6 different forests. And again, if you want to make one, just you can do one and just tag me on Instagram at @photosearch. Okay, now I'm going to export this the quick and dirty way. Oh, there's too much highlights now. Like I'm looking at the rock, it's just too much. Maybe if I, let's see here. Maybe I can lower the sun intensity just a tad. I think it's too strong. Let's go maybe 7. 7, yeah, 7 maybe better. I don't want to, or maybe 5. Okay, let's go back to post-processing. And, you know, you just play around and post-processing. So post-processing volume again. And then let's go back to exposure. And it's always the same thing I play around. So let's try, instead of 9, let's try 10, let's try 9. It's too dark, 9.5. 9.5. And so whenever you change one of this parameter, just to be sure, you have to go back to skylight and then take any parameters and just click recapture to recalculate the global. See, now it's darker. Okay, so maybe not. And that's too dark now. So come on. Okay, so let's go back here, post-processing again. And I made a mess of myself. Let's go back to exposure. So you select, I like to use that. It goes much faster. Let's go back to 11. Okay, no, that's too much. Let's go back to 10.5, 10.5. Yeah, 10.5 seems to be kind of cool. Because with all the contrast added and everything, and let's see here. I feel like we could have more, you can go crazy on the light rays. So I can go back up here and select the sun. And it's really like a trial and error process. I can go back here, instead of 40, I can put like 60. And now we get even more light rays. Okay, why not? Why not? Okay, I'm going to stop at one point. I kind of like the mood of this image. Okay, now to export it, what you can do is you can go here into, render this movie. So I'm going to render it as an image sequence PNG. PNG. And resolution, I'm going to do 4K because I like 4K. And I'm going to select a folder. So I'm going to go to my export folder, bike forest, render 1. That was my first test. So I'm going to create a new folder that I'm going to call render 2. Let's see here. Oh, well, I'm going to call it a new folder for now. I'm going to leave it there. And then boom, capture movie. Save the selected, and look how fast it's going to export this movie. Okay, cool. And we got a whole bunch of error message in the message log, but don't worry about that. So let's see now. Let's go to our export bike forest, new folder, and we have all the export there. Let's check a couple of frames. It's a little bright. It's a little too bright. You know what? I think I made a mistake, and this is a mistake you're going to make, so that's why I'm leaving it here. What happened is I should have gone to my sequencer and double click on the camera to make sure it's actually all good. It's funny because sometimes it does that, like it exports much brighter, so that's fine. So now I've got a whole bunch of photo here. Yeah, it's actually pretty nice. I've got a whole bunch of photo, and what I'm going to do is I've already have Vinci Resolve open. Vinci Resolve is a free software. Make sure you go to media first. So you've got different menus. And again, you can see some of my tutorials on this subject on the first video that I did. I go maybe a little slower. But anyway, when you go to media, you see the 3 dots here. Make sure frame display is on sequence. It took me a while to figure that out. So you just go to media, you're that. Then you go to edit. Check this out, by the way. That's like, this is a test that I did before doing this tutorial. Kind of cool, kind of cool. So now I am going to click here and let me make this a bit smaller. I'm going to select everything, Control A, and drag and drop it into Unreal. Right click, create a new timeline, create, and boom. What we just did is here. That's what we just created. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. Okay, so I kind of like what I did there. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. It's exported. So now you just go to deliver. I'm going to put this in the same folder. So I'm going to go to Unreal Export. You know, wherever you want, back forest. I'm going to go to new folder and I'm going to put it here and I'm going to save it. I'm going to call this forest final. Okay, and I'm going to click here, add to render queue, and boom, render. And that's going to render this in 2 seconds. Voila. And now I can go here and forest final is here. I can double click on it and voila. Let me put it full screen. This is our final 4K. Let's look at it again. This is the final 4K thing that we did together. There's wind and everything, you know. And it does look like a forest, you know, with a lot of things going on. Okay, so what I did is I waited a few hours and I looked back at it actually the next day, and I like what I did, but I think I can do better. I looked at some of the early ones that I did, and this happens to me all the time. I create a scene and I want to improve it. So this is an optional state, but we're gonna make this like into like an Excalibur scene. First of all, I think my scene is a little too confused. There's too many trees going over the scene, so I'm gonna clean up the scene. I really want the star to be this rock here. So I'm gonna move this around like that. I'm just, you know, pushing a little bit the tree. I want the focus to be there. And I also want to get some like rays around that tree. So let's see here, if I move that tree, yeah, you see, I want to get some more rays. Let's put this down a little bit in the ground. Yes. And okay, so that was the first thing. Oh yeah, that tree also is in the way. I wanted to clean the scene up a little bit so that it's we can see a little bit more the stone, so the stone becomes like really the hero shot. I think there's a lack of tree in the back, so maybe I can put that tree, and you know, you just play around with it. Maybe I can put that tree a little bit further. I really wanted to make something really nice. Voila, maybe put this here. And then, okay, let's duplicate this tree. So remember, to duplicate, you just hold down the Option key and you click and drag. So I'm just gonna make a second tree because I really want to get some shadows, some more light rays. Yes, like that. Okay, some more shadows on the stone. Okay, not too much, but just a little bit. Okay, cool. So now we're on the stone, but even there's a tree. This one is still too close to the stone. I want to move this one out. Okay, and I find this one is a little too close, so let's move this one a little bit further away. Okay, we're back where we are. Okay, cool. Okay, and the light rays is too strong now. I find them too strong, so I'm gonna go back to, so there are different ways to do that. I can go to sun, and I can just go to, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna put like 5 in lux, so the sun is a bit less strong. That can help. That can help, and maybe I can go back here and go like at 40 into my volumetric scattering intensity, so it's like, you know, it's not so crazy, or maybe 50 or something like that. Yeah, 50, not 60. So that's better. And then one thing I want to add is I want to add a sword here. So I give you a little trick. You know, if you want to add something to your scene, you just go to the Epic Market. And so what I did is let me put this in big. I went to the marketplace. Let me go back here. And I just typed sword, okay? And I look for a sword. And then I clicked here for free. I wanted something you guys can use. And I found this one. It's called Free Fantasy Weapons, and it's free. So all you have to do is click, I already bought it. And once you buy it, you can click on Add to Project. And this is, you know, the project is because 4 is back and I added it. So I'm not going to add it because I already done it. Okay, but that's how you do it. You just go to the marketplace, type something, you can either pay for it. I've bought a whole bunch of things, but there's a lot of stuff you can get for free. It's crazy. So now I added this sword, and actually more than a sword, a lot of things. So I'm going to go here, and where is it? It's called the weapons pack. And if you go to props, weapons, weapon kit maybe? Yes. Here is the sword, and I'm going to put the sword like in Excalibur. So I'm going to put the sword over the stone, and the sword is way too small. I want to make it bigger, so I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go 5, so that's going to make it much bigger. And you can just go like this. So you see that moves the sword left to right, and then this moves it back. I want it to be on the stone, and Z is going to make it up. I mean, just look what the arrow says. Z is up in this case. Y is left to right, but that depends of your orientation, because sometimes Y can be like, you know, back and forth, and it's the reverse. It depends how you're oriented. So just look at the direction. So I want something like this. Yeah, the sword sticking out, and then let's rotate it. So let's press E for rotation, and let's rotate it that way. Okay, cool. And then W to go back to this. So the stone is here in, yeah, but you see it's sticking out. That's because the Z is too long. So what I can do is I can go here, and I can make my Z a little bit shorter so it doesn't stick out so much. Voila. So now that's good. I think I want to rotate a little bit the stone. And honestly, you can spend hours doing that. I hope I'm not boring you. I'm just trying to make this a little more interesting, honestly. Just trying to make this a little more interesting. So, you know, the hero shot for me is really up. What did I do? So if you lose something, just press Command Z, Control Z to the last thing. And sometimes I like to just to fine tune it with the, you know, with my, with this. Yeah. Okay. And then I think I'm going to put it, go down a little bit like that. Yeah. Okay, cool. So now we're good. So I can go back to the sequencer. And then look at my animation now with the sword. Yeah, it's cleaner. It's cleaner. We're more... That tree still annoys me. That tree is too much in the view, that one tree there. Oh, okay, so this tree was added. I cannot move it individually because it was added. You see, when you click on a tree and it was added by the foliage. Okay, it's not the end of the world. I might just keep it. It's fine. It's fine. Okay, I'm happy with the animation that we got. I'm really happy with that. And I actually want to add a little different close-up, but I want to go more blue on this one. So I'm going to, I didn't like the white balance that I did. So I'm going to go back to sky. I'm going to go back to my white balance. So for this, you have to look for your post-processing volume, which is here. And I'm going to go to the white balance, just like in photography, white balance. And then I'm just going to make it much more blue. Yeah, I think blue is going to be nicer. Blue is nicer, and I'm going to take out the grain. I added some grain, but I don't like it. So I'm going to go here instead of white. I'm going to put grain, and I'm just going to take it out. I don't know. I had second thought about the grain, and voila. And now I kind of like it better. Maybe I went a little too blue. You know, it's really a matter of taste. Just a little, yeah, like that. That's kind of cool. Okay, great. And okay, so now I want to do something that's kind of cool. Is I want to add a second camera that's going to be like a close-up. Actually, I'm going to. So what I'm going to do. So you see here we have something called camera cuts. Okay, and in this one you have something called cinema camera actor, and that's our first camera. So I'm going to double click on this, and or click on that. And I'm going to call this wide. So that's going to be the wide camera. Okay, it's a wide shot. It's kind of like a stab shot in the movies, you know. We come here, we see the sword is in the stone. I think the sword, I want to put it a little lower, yeah, in the stone. Okay, cool. Okay, so we have the white camera, which is here. I want to add another camera. So remember, you see here it says camera cuts. This is where you do your editing, that on that line here. So if I click on white camera, and you see this is in white, I see what this camera sees, okay? And if I click here on this white here, I see what my final editing is. Right now it's the same thing because there's only one camera. But I'm going to add a second camera. So I'm going to go here. At this point, maybe here. Let's see. And I'm just going to click here to add a camera. Okay, this one, you need to name your camera right away. It gets very confusing. I'm going to call it close up. And you see, by default, it's like at 35 millimeter, which is kind of cool. I'm going to put it like at 50 millimeter. And I'm going to go like 1.4, like really tight. Okay, now the light doesn't match, but that's fine. We'll correct that later. So you can right click and then you can move Q to move up and move down. I just want to do like a little close up here on the, maybe like rotate around the sword. So my focus is completely out. So what I'm going to do is here, you see, and so this is the first camera. I'm going to do my first recording of my frame. So I'm going to add a keyframe here, okay? And then I'm going to focus on the, I'm going to click here on the focus and I'm going to focus on the sword here, okay? And I'm going to add a keyframe on the focus, okay? So we have that here and then we're going to move further and do a little move around. I think I want to sort of go around the sword a little bit. Let's go a little further. Something like that. Maybe, I'm in the tree. So let's see, maybe something like that can be cool. And I'm going to go here and I'm going to focus again here. Come on, you got to take that little thing. Okay, and not click on that. Why is it not focusing? Sometimes it does that. It's annoying. So what you can do, another way to do that, so you click on the close-up camera, click here on Draw Debug, and what you see in pink is what's going to be in focus. Okay, and you can see here, now that's in focus, perfect. Okay, so I did it manually. And then again, I'm going to do a little keyframe here on the focus. Boom. So let's see here. Did it work or not? Oh, it didn't do the keyframe on the transform. Okay. I don't know why, so I'm going to have to rotate it again. Go further. Come on, I want to do a little rotation. Yeah, something like that. So transform, add a keyframe. See, okay, now we have a keyframe here. We have a keyframe there. Perfect. So let's see. Is it working? Yes, it's working. Okay, perfect. Now, I don't like the sort of, you see how it starts slow and gets faster and goes slow again. I like constant speed, so you got to put the keyframe into linear so they become a triangle. And of course, you got to make sure the keyframe starts before. See, I'm moving the triangles before the end of this animation. That way, when we go from that animation to this animation, we are good. It's kind of cool actually to have all the small thing in front. Okay, perfect. And I'm going to stop the overall animation here before it stops. Okay, so now I just need to add in my overall camera cuts the second camera. So you go click here, plus camera and close up. And now, mesdames et messieurs, check this out. Oh, you see that doesn't work because I'm still looking at this camera. So I have to click here. Now I'm looking at that. Oh, I forgot to change the exposure. But let's see. Yeah, it's perfect. Okay, I just need to change the exposure for the second camera. So what you can do here on this one is you select the second camera, and on this one you're going to have to go into what I can do is I can change the speed on this one. I can change the speed of the camera to get less light into the camera. So speed, I'm going to type speed, see if I can find it. Exposure, shutter speed. Okay, shutter speed. Let's increase the shutter speed. Yeah, like to 231. So let's see here now. Okay, so this camera goes like that. Ooh, I like that. I like that. And then, boom, it goes like that. Okay, so I'm ready to export, but I still think the wind is a little too crazy. Let's see. Click on that, view, and yeah, I still think, yeah, the wind is, I don't like what I did with it. So remember, to correct the wind, all you have to do is you go back to BP, which means blueprint, which is basically the coding of Unreal Engine, global foliage actor. And here we have our wind settings. So you know what? I'm going to put back everything at default. So I forgot to tell you this, but you see that little arrow when you click on it, it puts it at default. So the wind is going to be much less. And I'm just going to maybe put just that one wind strength at 10. Now, let's see here. Or wind speed, like at 10. Let's see here. No, it's actually worse. All right, so let's go wind strength like 20, maybe. Yeah, that's kind of better. It's still, yeah, no, let's go 10, let's go 10. Okay, all right, and just to export, so really quick, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna click here, okay? 4K, PNG is a non-compressing format, like every photo is not gonna get compressed. I'm just gonna click on the three dots to decide where I'm gonna go. So I have this export, back forest. I've been doing a lot of export between takes because I've done this tutorial like 10 times before I could record it for you guys because I was not getting it right and I wanted this to be the most simple possible. So I'm gonna call it Forest Sword 3 because I've already done a few tests. Okay, Forest Sword 3, select folder, and then let's go to Capture Movie. Every time it's going to ask you to save, and now it's going to export everything. And so I did a bit of Blender back in my day, and I remember when I was doing Blender, it used to take like literally 2-3 minutes for one frame to render. We're going to render like 300 frames in about less than a minute. And that's what's amazing how fast Unreal Engine is. And I find them very, I mean, these trees are like so, they're based on photos, so they're very photorealistic. Even so, the whole thing looks a little bit like a video game. I still love the look. I just love it. It's so fun. I feel like being a kid playing Lego, you know? So let's jump into DaVinci and just do this animation really quick. Okay, so here you can see a lot of export that I did back when I was trying things. So I'm just going to create a new bin. I'm going to call it Forest Sword 3. Okay, and then let's get the Finder. So let's go to Export, Bike Forest, Forest Sword 3. Select everything. Control A. You select everything. Drag and drop it here. Okay, I don't know why it's doing 2 timelines, but okay. I have no idea why. Let's see, but I think it's complete. Let's see. Yeah, the wind is much better. I really like the result. And it's much nicer. Yeah. Oh, okay. So the only thing I'm going to do is, I don't even think I want to retouch the color. I mean, let's try. You just go to color here. And by default, I use this color thing. And usually all I do is just, I roll my wheel here to add a bit more contrast. And I roll my wheel here to change a little bit the exposure. And then maybe I add a little bit of blue in the shadows. Why not? It's kind of Hollywood, and that's it, And you can press Control D to see the before and after. If you look on my channel, you'll find there's a whole tutorial on how to use DaVinci Resolve, which is a free software. I think it's one of the best free software out there. It's crazy how good it is. Okay, and I have some music somewhere. Yes, here. Make it stronger. So I have this website. Oops. This website that I'm going to put a link down below called AG Soundtrack, I think. They have some really cool music. And so, yeah, I'm just going to synchronize this music. And my idea is, you see, when it changes from the wide angle to the short angle, I want it to become here. And so I roughly did it. Let's see if it works. Yeah, maybe I'm going to move this just a tad. Yeah, that's good enough. Okay, perfect. And then you can drag here to make a fade to black. No, I'm not going to. Maybe on the music, I'm going to make a little fade here, so it starts like this. Okay, perfect. The last thing is I want to give it like a movie look. So for that, I'm going to go click on the clip here on the inspector and you see where it says crop top, I'm going to put 130 pixel, crop bottom, 130 pixel, and it's going to give them like that sort of cinema look with the bars you see in movies. And voila, let's go deliver. So Forest Worth 3, perfect. YouTube, perfect. Add to render queue. And then, well, let me clear my queue because I did a lot of tests before, so I cleared all my queues. I'm just going to add to render queue, render, and let me show you the result. All right, I hope you like this. And if you did, just one favor, if you can like this video, be amazing. I hope you can create lots of funny things. If you did something that you like, follow me on Instagram at @PhotoSurge and post it as a story and tag me at @PhotoSurge, and I will forward the best to 125,000 followers. Maybe you can get some followers that way. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in another video.